It's time to upload brand new podcast episodes, stories, insights that you've never seen. So make a brew and grab a biscuit, cause you really don't wanna miss it. The Datesand Tunnel Vision Podcast. Episode 1.
Fantastic.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining me.
I'm delighted to be here. Thanks, Naomi. Yeah, I'm good. It's been a busy week and looking forward to doing this with you. First episode of the Datesand podcast. So
yes,
thank you.
Very exciting. We thought for the first episode we'll do Who is Datesand? We'll explain, and who better to tell us who is Datesand than you?
Yeah, great. Yes.
Shall we start? How did you come into working at Datesand? How did you get into position CEO?
Yes. Yeah, it's an interesting journey. I didn't actually ever plan to be CEO of Datesand, not initially at least. I joined Datesand when I was 16 years old, so been working
from
here
start,
ever since. Yeah, exactly. The business was started in 1980. I was 4 at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I remember our first order. My dad cheering as he opened the mail one Saturday morning, and there was an order from Christie's Hospital in Manchester. Yeah, the Christie Patterson Labs, that was our first order. So I probably was then, because it took a while to get that first. I was probably like 6 years old, something like that. I've been invested in Datesand ever since, really.
Aww.
So here I am. I'm in, obviously CEO, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's in the business as director as well, and my brother is also a fellow director. And we've got a team of 30 great people, all helping to drive the business forward and making it what it is today, which is great. But the story started in 1980, as I say, with my mum and dad, and progressed through an early period. My dad was a chemist. He then started the business basically selling detergents. So because he was more than a chemist, he was a very good salesperson.
Yeah.
He was great with people, and he had a vision of what he wanted to do. He wanted his own business. So he started Datesand with a view to blending chemicals and selling them into hospitals. That all made great sense. And his first customer was the Christie, the Patterson Labs, which happens to be a mouse facility. First time he'd ever seen a mouse facility.
Yeah.
He was approached by the manager there, who asked, "Do you think you could find some clean bedding, because the stuff we're getting at the moment, it's got old light bulbs in it, rubbish."
Ooh,
yeah, it was a mess, and that was quite typical at the time.
Right.
So back in the 80s, a lot of facilities were running on old style farm grade shavings.
Right.
Ultimately, so my dad set to and took on that challenge, and went back some 6 months later with a very clean product. And got our first order for bedding, which was for about 50 sacks of bedding. Shavings, I can remember it, because I was involved in producing them. What we did was we took the large bales of shavings that were farm grade,
right,
and then we sieved them to make sure there was nothing untoward in there. So any crisp papers and wrappers and cigarette dints removed quite clearly, dust removed, and we were just left with a really nice shaving product.
Nice.
Meanwhile, my dad had looked around and made a partnership with a sawmill in Macclesfield, wood treatment, and they put in a special plant, a line which had all the right equipment in there to remove any of the unwanted particles, dust and stuff like that. So that's how our Datesand bedding was born.
Yeah.
It used to be called Beta Bed back then. The Beta Bed range was...
I feel like I may have heard someone, probably you, mentioning that.
Yeah, you'll have seen it on old packaging and old marketing as well. It's BETA bed. Anyway, we took on the marketplace and actually created a really high standard of bedding and started supplying, and I think we were probably one of 5 suppliers at the time, and picked up some decent market share in the UK. So that's how we got into the bedding business. Remarkable. And here we are today. We're the UK's leading bedding supplier. We've added to our portfolio massively, obviously.
Don't have to hand sieve these ones now.
We certainly don't. No, everything's automated. So today, no interest in that. So we went from hand sieving as a family of 4 in a garage, basically, to today we've got 5 manufacturing sites that we partner with around Europe. We're the UK's leading bedding supplier. We hold stocks in 7 different locations around Europe, and we're delivering thousands of tons of bedding into all the leading animal facilities. So it's been a journey, and I know my mum and dad will be very proud of where we are today. Things have changed a lot, but what's remained at the core has been our sort of core set of values, and I think the commitment to the industry, which we're very proud to be in this industry. Caring for those who care for others was the strapline that my dad started the business with in 1980. So the fact it's still with us today, 45 years on nearly, I think that speaks volumes, and it is at our core. So Datesand today is very different to how I remember it when we were growing up, but really proud, and obviously it's been a great journey.
So what's been your favourite moment then of the past?
I know
it's been a long time since you were 16.
Yes, not one single moment. I think I've got to say, so I went to college straight from school, and I got kicked out of college.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I was studying business, and I didn't really do very well. It was more to do with attendance side of the things that I thought were more interesting than going to college. So I got kicked out, and I came straight into the business. Actually, at the time, my mum was having an operation, and I came in as sort of cover to help, and I've not left ever since. So I've got no sort of formal business training other than 6 months at college doing a BTEC. So I don't think there's any one single moment necessarily, but I'd say I've thoroughly enjoyed most of my time at Datesand. It has been challenging, as it is in any business at times. It's been a lot of hard work, a lot of endeavour. I would say the earlier days when we were struggling to stay afloat really, and it was about breaking even, not losing money, trying to keep the business going and continue with the business. That was really enjoyable, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah, at those times.
I was going to say, would that not be like your biggest challenge?
It was challenging, but it was every win was so important, and it was like, we were fighting every day. Was like a real mission. We were number 5 out of 5 suppliers of similar products in the industry, and we literally went every day, 7 days a week for several years, I'd say. It was all about that. We're on that mission, and we were, as I said to you separately, we were keeping our promise that we made to my dad at the time when he was in his final days, and we promised him that we'd make a success of the business. But it wasn't a given, because at that point the company was losing money. We only had 5 staff, including myself and my mum. Right. It was a very different scenario. But having made that promise, it was like that was the real fire in my belly, and it was the real reason. They talk about purpose, and you need to know your why. And for me, probably for about 10 years, that was my why, and I found that the most rewarding, thrilling time. It really was, and we made it up as we went along. No formal business training, no real industry training either. So I have to thank and say the people in our industry were incredibly supportive, very welcoming, and ultimately I was going out on the road selling maybe 4 days a week. We'd go out and sell, and then the other 3 we'd be making up the orders and trying to get them so that we could actually deliver the products. So you all had to do like every
job, didn't you?
Absolutely,
have sales team, marketing team.
No, we didn't have any of that.
Team.
No, there was none of that.
It was just you.
No, I was in the warehouse, and I was, at weekends I was doing the packing and doing production. Genuinely, it was like that. It was just, but it was great, and I really enjoyed that. And I think so I would say that was really enjoyable. But I think it's great now to be able to stand back at times, and we probably don't do that enough, but to be able to look at the business and just see how far it's come. And I think the fact that we've got such great people, very talented people, very intelligent people, formally trained or not, everybody comes and they bring them full selves to work. And for me, that's something I'm most proud of. I would say the most enjoyable bits were when I was in the thick of it doing everything. But now, I'm really grateful that we get up each day and feel like you've got purpose, most certainly.
Definitely. And
to be able to be like-minded people alongside you and actually try and deliver on goals that we've set ourselves, agreed. That for me is the best thing. Teamwork.
Yeah. I think that we all feel the same. When we come to work, we actually enjoy coming to work, because I've come from like retail and stuff like that, and then how they treat certain things and problems don't really go away, and they don't address stuff, but then I mean, I've been here almost 2 years now.
Yes,
it's gone very quick.
Has gone quick, but you've made a great impact in 2 years.
But I think that when it's not just the animals that we're looking after. We actually do care for our people that work here as well, and the animals and the people who are caring for the animals, and it's quite literally as we are caring for everyone. So whether it's people who are buying from us, or if it's people from Datesand who are working here to help those people, it's just everyone cares for each other, and there's always lots of teamwork, and everyone's really helpful for everyone. And I just think it was really refreshing to come from one job where it was like really frustrating and you're struggling, and then to come to this one and it's like, oh, everyone actually cares, and they want to help you. So it was definitely really nice. But
great.
You don't get a lot of employers that care for the welfare of their people. So I think, well, why is it so important for Datesand?
Oh wow! Well, I think there's a number of reasons, but I'm going to say right from the very start, I have to say so. And without looking back too far, it's so important. It's entrenched. When I saw my dad work so very hard, and then become ill, and subsequently passed away, I realised actually his quality of life for a long time, it was all about work, and he was very stressed, and that was put onto the people he worked with. I have to say, which included my mum, included me and my brother, but it was the wider team. I saw a lot of people getting very stressed and very upset by I'm going to say a culture that for me wasn't healthy and wasn't sustainable. So one thing I did do, I promised myself, I promised my mum as well at the time, that ultimately it'll be very different. If we're going to carry on with the business, it will be very different. It has to be, for our own sanity. I saw my mum again. We're all human, and she worked incredibly hard. She was very vivacious, very easygoing, friendly lady, and she mostly enjoyed the work, but she really did struggle with mental health, and she also struggled, I think, at times emotionally in trying to get the balance between the family and the business. So again, I sort of made a promise to say, well, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, and we're going to do it in a way that we can absolutely be ourselves. We don't need to hide who we really are and our emotions. That's not normal in every business, but for me it was really important. So that's what set the basis. Now, moving that on, I think as a business has grown, and seeing the impact and seeing the benefit of people coming to work happy, confident. Now, we all have challenges, and they need to be addressed, and we support each other through them. So it's never perfect, and it's all, there's a lot of hard work and endeavour that goes in.
Definitely.
But if the basis is to say, don't worry, you're in a safe place, then actually
and to show we've got the resources available. If you're gonna, because a lot of people, they don't always want to come to the workplace and bring their problems with them.
No.
So I can understand that. But then if you know that, if it's something that's really upsetting you and you need someone to speak to, we've got resources and we've got options.
We have.
And they're available for anyone to use. And it's nice to know that, you can go and do that. If I need to talk to a mental health first aider, I know there's 3 people outside that are going to be able to be there for me. So it's nice just to be able to have that as an option.
And it is so, and I think it's great to see that in other businesses as well today. I think it's becoming more common and
definitely is.
And certainly powerful. But I think what I would say is, for a long time, my mum and I were probably the mental health first aiders for all the team. But that was exactly how we wanted it. So if there were issues at home, as there always have been, if there were life events that mean that people are against it, we'd address them together, and they'd have full support in the same way that they supported me and my mum. And then subsequently, unfortunately, my mum passed away. Again, the team rallied around me, and the support was there. Again, I'll be forever grateful for that, but I also know that it's a reciprocal thing. So again, that's what a proper team is. So hopefully that makes sense. But I think it's a great way to run a business. It's also, I think, the most sensible way from a commercial perspective as well. It's welfare and well-being absolutely at the heart. But if it means, as I say, that we have less people that leave the business. Staff retention is very high. We have delighted customers because our people are happy. we solve problems, we do things in a positive way, we're open, and ultimately that's good for business. It makes good commercial sense. I think the old days perhaps of old school management are out of the window.
So would that be like your advice for people who are in 100%. Business or starting their own business or
absolutely
something?
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's more of a given these days because people are it's much more out there, isn't it?
Definitely. And seeing a lot more, even like within the industry. Like there's I've been doing lots of research and stuff, and a lot of animal technicians and things like that, they don't have a lot of help with compassion fatigue or their own mental health stuff, and they're battling when they want to care for the animals but then they've got to euthanize them, and it's like trying to deal with those emotions. So if it's businesses that are within the industry not doing what we're doing and selling things but actually working with the animals, I think they need to start keep building it up and providing that resource. Again,
I do see that improving, and I was at a conference couple of weeks ago, and there was a talk just about that, and it's really well recognised, and the support from throughout the business, so at all levels, at management level, directorship level, as long as it is getting to the entire team.
Yeah, definitely.
Then it's not easy, and there's an investment of time and effort, isn't there? But I think if the culture's right, then those things should happen more naturally.
And it'd be worth it. What you get from in the
return. Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. No, I absolutely agree, and thanks for that feedback, because I think it's lovely to hear as well. But definitely. And I think something we work really hard at. Everybody in the business does. It is, isn't it? Throughout the whole company, colleague to colleague. So that's really powerful.
What do you think the future of Datesand is then? Where are we wanting to take it?
Well, we're gonna continue doing more of the same. I think we've said that we've got a very clear strategy that we've drawn up for the next two-year strategy, which you see, and the 5-year goals and the 5-year strategy. I think it's more of the same, and we're looking new product development. We're looking at searching into new territories and building on our distributor network. So we're selling into I think it's 42 countries. I think that was it at the last count, which is fantastic. Obviously, taking the brand out and some really nice, unique products into 42 countries around the world. So it's more of the same, building on that and actually continuing the growth. We would like to bring in some new products into our range as well, and we've got some plans afoot to do that. So that should be interesting, quite exciting times ahead, the next 6 to 12 months. Myself, I'm only 50. So I feel like I've got a good few years in me yet, but
definitely.
What I would also say is that we've got a really strong senior leadership team, and we're investing in them and their development, so that actually the business will continue to grow with its great people who are already making the decisions day to day, to make it less coming through myself or through my wife, but through Claire. I think that actually the day-to-day decisions are being made on the ground, real time, by people who know the business inside out, and that's been a really great development in the last few years. So more of that. I think they'll be progressing and taking the business forward, along with, of course, with me, but
with you, alongside.
Taking it alongside all together. Should be good.
Brilliant. So to finish off, our podcast episodes are going to have some kind of game with our guests.
Great.
Seeing as you're the first one, I'm going to have 3 trivia questions for you. So, you ready?
Yes.
I'll give you 5 seconds to answer each one.
Okay. Great. Quick fire.
The Institute of Animal Technology, so the IAT,
Yeah.
is a UK professional body for animal technologists dedicated to advancing animal welfare and training professionals.
Yes.
But what year was it established?
Oh, that's a tough one.
It is.
1961. No.
Nope, older than that. 1950 is your
really?
answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm afraid
Very
you got
good.
that
I
one
think
wrong.
there's still some members of council that were around then as well.
From the beginning.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay.
Question 2.
Yeah.
Which animal is mostly used for laboratory research?
It's the mouse.
It is the mouse. Well done. Question 2 right.
Over 80% of
the animal
research
understanding animal research. 82% you'll find.
Is that right?
Is of the top 10 organisations use mice for their studies.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah, brilliant.
Wonderful mice.
So question 3.
Yes.
Your final question.
Yeah.
Had to throw it in there. I'm going to completely throw you off. But if we were to add up our total followers across LinkedIn and Instagram, how many would we have?
Ooh.
You can have a range of 10.
Okay,
so
LinkedIn and Instagram.
If you combine them both, yeah.
Okay, and you'll round me up or down?
I will.
Within 10. Well, I know we're not quite at the 2,000 mark yet.
We're not quite
so
there, no.
I'm going to say we're nearly there. 1,850.
Not quite. Another one wrong. 1,592.
Okay.
So we're not far.
So we're getting there.
We're getting there.
I can remember when we set the target to get to 1,000 followers.
Yeah. That was just before we hit that just before I started.
Was that right? Right. Okay.
Yeah, and we planted 1,000
trees. Right, let's go. Yeah, that's right.
Next on,
we planted 1,000 trees.
We'll probably plant 2,000 trees.
2,000 trees when we get 2,000 followers. You've heard it here.
We'll do this one first.
Great.
Okay, brilliant.
There's a commitment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for having me.